For this lecture, I'm going to introduce both the work of Jafar Panah, the director of our film today, Offside, and more generally, the field of contemporary Iranian cinema. I'll also talk at the end about the recent 6-year prison sentence that Panahi received from the Iranian authorities as punishment for his filmmaking. Panahi was born in 1960 and is celebrated as one of the most important directors in the so-called Iranian New Wave movement in cinema. This movement began at the end of the 1960s and is defined by the critic Rose Issa in the following way. It, the New Wave movement, champions the poetry in everyday life and the ordinary person by blurring the boundaries between fiction and reality, feature film with documentary. This new humanistic aesthetic language, determined by the filmmaker's individual and national identity, rather than the forces of globalism, has a strong creative dialogue, not only on home ground, but with audiences around the world. I think we can see how Issa's description of the Iranian New Wave movement applies to our film for today, Offside. Certainly the film uses documentary techniques for a work of fiction, employing non-professional actors, filming many of the scenes at the actual match. I think we can see that very clearly in the scene where the soldier runs into the stadium and there are 100,000 people there. You can't do that on an Iranian filmmaker's budget with extras, and you can't do it with CGI either. That's the actual game. That's the real match taking place and being filmed at the same time. I think we can also see the film's humanism in its depiction of the young women who simply want to watch a soccer game, and later on they can't even find a bathroom at the stadium where they can go to the bathroom. It's very, very simple, basic needs, soccer and the bathroom, and they're denied them. I think there's a strong link here between the new wave of Iranian cinema and a movement called Italian neorealism, which was a post-war style of filmmaking. In Italian neorealism, the focus is on the working class, on everyday life, and directors in this movement often used non-professional actors. An example would be the bicycle thief. I think this cross-pollination between countries as different as Italy and Iran shows just how international the language of cinema is. But also, I think Issa's point about homegrown identity is well taken. Offside certainly gives a portrait of contemporary Iranian national identity as the country comes to a grinding halt to watch a vital World Cup qualifying match. And as you watch the film, I want you to think about how we can connect these formal techniques used by Panahi, the documentary style, the handheld camera work, the limited time frame, the use of non-professional actors, etc., to the content, to the themes addressed in the film. Amongst the other materials I prepared for today is a PowerPoint presentation on Iranian history after World War II, which indicates, I think, some of the reasons why there is so much tension between Iran and the West. I mean, for example, just a few days ago, this drone aircraft was captured by the Iranians, and it's clearly a focal point for a lot of tension between Iran and the West at the moment. I've also included on an interview that I found on YouTube with the director, Jafar Panah, where he discusses the inspiration for the film, the techniques used, and the reception that the film had from the public and from the Iranian authorities. And this last aspect is of great importance because in October of this year, Panahi was convicted of, quote, propaganda against the state, unquote, and received a 6-year prison sentence and a 20-year ban on all artistic activities, including travelling abroad and talking to the media, as well as filmmaking. Earlier this year, while he was under house arrest before he received this prison sentence, he actually managed to make a film entitled, ironically, This Is Not a Film, and he managed to smuggle it out of the country on a USB stick drive hidden in a cake. You know, you think of prisoners receiving files to get out of jail, hidden in cakes, and here he is smuggling a digital file of a film to escape house arrest and convey his art to the broader world. Now, I know that as an academic I'm supposed to be objective, but I'm personally outraged by governments that repress artistic freedom, whether it's for religious reasons or political reasons, whichever end of the spectrum they come from. And if you share my outrage, then let me know via email. Write to me at rlemon@ou.edu, and I will send you the link to Amnesty International's campaign to free Panahi. Who'd have thought that a course on soccer would end up addressing such weighty matters? Thanks very much. Bye.